See everyone this morning, ladies and gentlemen, we're now in the hands of our capable city clerk, Ms. Lisa Carroll.
This is the reading of the Mobile City Council Tuesday, September the 9th. We have appeals. We have requests for a waiver of the noise ordinance on October the 25th from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. on Government Street.
Any issue, Councilman Carroll? Okay.
Public hearings today is a public hearing to consider the modification of a previously approved planning approval for property located at 3610 and 3720 Michael Boulevard. Public hearing.
I'd like, Mr. Woods, was there any dispute at the Planning Commission on these items?
No, sir. I guess this would be the
It's a,
YMCA property.
I think it's the LIP.
No, sir. There was no discussion.
All right, so I won't call out the PUD. Public hearing to declare the structures at 1606 Katy Street, 270 Oak Drive, 506 Patton Avenue, public nuisances and ordering them demolished. Public hearing to consider the adoption of the 2025-2026 General Fund and Capital Improvement Fund budgets. Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Sabrina Mast, the election process and certifications. And Anthony Mabin will, current employees regarding the WAVE, transit and via. Kathy O'Keefe, councils did not.
Is there going to be someone from the administration to answer
Yes.
Mr. Mavis' questions?
Kathy O'Keefe, the council's denying denial of rezoning properties located on Airport Boulevard between Dogwood Drive and Summit Drive. Resolutions held over. 08-1137 approved purchase order to Howard Industries for surveillance cameras. 08-1140 approved purchase order to Divers Ford for pickup truck. 08-1141 approved purchase order to Sun South for John Deere mowers. 08-1142 approved purchase order to Sun South for 5 John Deere mowers. 09-1145 authorized various amendments, reallocations, appropriations, and transfers for the fiscal year 2025 general fund budget. 09-1146 transfer funds from deferred revenues fund to capital account Copeland Cox Tennis Center in support of the United States Tennis Association grant. 21-1149 authorized contract with Port City Transit for services to operate city's transit system.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Wood.
we're going to lay this over a week if that's acceptable to everyone.
Okay.
21-1150 authorized contract with ProTech Video for the deployment and management of technology training and consulting services. 21-1151 authorized contract with SPV Associates doing business as Onladus for services related to the implementation of the city's project management program.
Mr. President,
Mr. Reynolds.
I missed this one last week, but I do have questions about it. This is training the capital improvement department group. What are we doing? What are we training them for? Are we making major modifications to the way we're handling capital projects, or what efficiencies are we looking to
So
find?
this is just ongoing training with that e-builder software, any new employees that are coming in and, existing employees that are just ongoing training with the program. It's just ongoing support of e-builder.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Nick.
21-1152 authorized contract with Tinker Imagineers for professional museum exhibit design, production, and installation services for the National Maritime Museum. Ordinance is being introduced, 52046, adopt Chapter 52, Real Property Maintenance and Enforcement, Article 8, Vacant Structure Registry for Henry Aaron Loop. 64 is
I think I talked to Jamie Roberts yesterday. My biggest concern here is how do we address the equal justice under the law portion of this, meaning that only we're segregating downtown from the rest of the city when we have the same problem throughout the city with vacant properties that are giving us the same type of grief. I didn't read any of that language in any of this. So if anybody can address how we are addressing the equal justice under the law portion of this, love to hear it.
Thank you, Councilman Carroll. I think that's a really poignant question, an important question to answer. And the answer is relatively simple. There are only certain protected classes when you talk about, equal justice or looking at whether or not somebody is being discriminated against. And two things. One, we're dealing with vacant structures here, not people. And so that's one. You're dealing with the structure itself, not necessarily the people. And two, being downtown or living downtown is not in one of the 7 or 9 different protected classes. So that's the simple answer. But to go more into the council's general governing authority, when you all see fit to carve out an area for a particular type of action, that is within your governing authority, as long as it doesn't violate our ordinances, state law or federal law, which this does not. This wouldn't be dissimilar to you all declaring a district historic or turning a particular district on for blight removal and things of that sort. So that it falls under that particular policing power and governing authority. And like I said, you're not targeting anyone because of race, gender, color, creed, religion, or anything like that. And so those protected classes are not what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with proximity for these buildings and how closely they're located with one another. And we do have one of our chiefs from the fire department to talk about the particular interest in public safety that we have because of the fire code, if you all have those types of questions.
Well, proximity and form-based coding, when you talk about that, you talk about 0 lot lines downtown and how close the buildings are.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
but we don't only have form-based coding downtown. We have it on MLK. We have it on Spring Hill Avenue. We have it on Michigan Avenue. We have the same issues throughout the city with the same type of construction and the same type of vacant buildings. So again, I mean, how are you handling the portion of equal justice under law when we're going to be letting the same type of people get away with it in other parts of the city, but we're going to enforce only the downtown area. And the other thing that's kind of bothering me too was the fine from $250 to $4,000. I mean, at what point does it seem like we're maybe forcing an owner to sell because he can't keep up with the payments or the fee, because his building or her building may be unoccupied. So it seems like you're forcing someone into a sell situation unintendedly where they can't own their property because we continue to put taxes on top of that. The other thing I didn't figure out or look at was in some of these areas is the alliance taxing them on top of the tax that we're giving them or we're charging them also? Because if that's the case, they're being taxed twice within the bid and then taxed again for us being empty. So that adds another burden onto it. So, I mean, I didn't see where we answered all those questions in this. Not that I'm against it, because I'm not. If y'all remember, I tried this a long time ago and it met a hard face when we tried to do this years and years ago. But I think we need to do something, but we have to cover our bases to make sure that we're making sure that everyone's covered properly and the procedures are right for everybody. And we're not just adding undue or unjust harm in one area when everybody else has the same problems. I know Corey's got the same problem out in District 1. Ben's got the same problem in District 4. I've got the same problems on other streets. So how do you explain that?
So to answer your first question, there's nothing wrong or right with a limit into a particular area. It is within the governing authority of the council to expand it citywide. If you all want to do that, that's perfectly permissible. As to the equal application of the law, or as you reference equal justice, there is no protection, federal, state, or otherwise, outside of property rights of being a commercial business owner or a commercial building owner. That is not a protected class. And interestingly enough, we've argued that in a case not too long ago and successfully won. But as to the pricing, that is completely up to the council, whether or not we want to look at pushing people into compliance. It's not dissimilar to what you all do with liens on buildings that you either have to tear down and make those declarations on a regular basis. But that is within the governing authority of the council. If we want to change those, that's completely up to you all, and how you want to map that out. And it is a compliance issue. So if somebody is in full compliance, there won't be a penalty. But that's the answer to your questions. But a lot of Councilman Carroll's questions are discretionary questions for you all as a council to discuss and what you all want to do, and have good basis for being asked. So thank you all.
You're talking about informing the ordinance and possibly changing the writing of it at this point in time?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. That is how you all want to do it. And
So in essence, we could impose a fine for those not having the proper fire alarm system as opposed to just being vacant.
you could. That is right. That is right. And so as long as you all are willing to have those discussions, we're willing to work with the council and move forward.
Send it to committee, look at it.
Anyone else?
Send it to committee and look at it and go through it pretty good.
Okay.
In the long run, we're going to have to do something. So let's send it to committee, work through it, see what the do's and don'ts are, and get it passed some kind of way. Name the date. I've got the time.
Yeah, next Tuesday is available if y'all want to look for next Tuesday,
It's fine with me.
1 o'clock.
Absolutely great.
All right. All right, Madam Clerk.
64047 and 048 are the modifications for previously approved planning approval and the PUD, property on Michael Boulevard. Consent resolutions being introduced. 40, 1155 through 1157 are declaring the structures public nuisances and ordering them demolished. 58, 1158 declare weeds noxious, weed lien group 1668. 60, 1159 and 1160 are approving the water special bonus to the Parks and Recreation Employee of the Month and the Officer of the Month. 27, 1176, 1177, and 1179 are authorizing contracts with Marcia Sewell, Iris Frazier, and Wanda Johnson for professional services for the 2025 municipal election. 03, 1178 appoint Erna Winston to the Citizens Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. CIP resolutions being introduced. 08, 1161 approve purchase order to Gray Bar Electric for streetlight poles on St. Louis Street, $61,826.66. Resolutions being introduced. 01, 1162 authorize amended loan agreement with James Buffett Declaration of Trust 1990. 01, 1163 authorize easement agreement with 195 LLC for private road in Logan Cottages. 08, 1164 approve purchase order to Dana Safety Supply for transport of Tahoe SUVs, $22,500. 08, 1165 approve purchase order to Online Consulting for pre-purchase of IT technology credits, $20,000. 08, 1166 approve purchase order to Southern Emergency and Rescue Vehicle Sales for ambulance, $365,894.70. 08, 1167 approve purchase order to Taylor Power Systems for rental of emergency generator for the cruise terminal, $17,200. 08, 1168 approve purchase order to Rescue One Corp for inflatable rescue boats with trailer, $44,724. 09-1169, consider the adoption of the 2025-2026 General Fund and Capital Improvement Fund budgets. 09-1170, authorize amendments, reallocations, appropriations, transfers to the fiscal year 2025 General Fund budget for port security grant funds. 13-1171, authorize change order number 2 with Thompson Engineering for U.S. Highway 45 streetscape improvements. This is an increase by $4,500. 60-1172, approves stipend for Captain James Cunningham for expenses accrued while attending the FBI National Academy, $3,950. Call for public hearings, 41-1173. Call for public hearing to consider the proposed modification of a previously approved plan unit development for property located at 4350 Moffett Road, scheduled October 14th. 41-1174, call for public hearing to consider rezoning property at 2602, 2610, 2612, 2614, and 2616 O'Shell Road and 1057 and 107 Item Avenue from R1 and B2 to B2, scheduled October 14th. 41-1175, call for public hearing to consider an amendment to the Downtown Development District Regulating Plan to rezone property located at 250 St. Francis Street from T5.1 to T5.2, scheduled October 14th. Announcements.
Council,
Mr. President,
Ms. Reynolds.
there's 2 items on here that are like less than $5,000 showing up on our agenda. I don't think that's required to put those things on our agenda. I think less than 15,000 should just be approved. Also, the public hearing for the budget, hopefully the administration will have someone available there at the meeting to, I don't know, answer questions, respond. I know you typically are, but just want to make sure that Scott's going to be there because hopefully we got some folks to speak on the budget and, things they'd like to see. That's it, Mr. President.
Vice President.
If we can look at waiving the rules for resolutions 081167, 081168, and 601172. Are there others? Ben, do you want to do those? 1164 and 1165.
Did we say 1171?
Yes.
All right, one more time.
1164, 1165, 1167, 1168, 1171, and 1172.
Anything else from the council? Anything from the council? Anything from the administration? Okay. All right, see each other downstairs at 10:30.
Oh.